Hello and welcome to my first build guide, my first beta build guide. So what we're talking about here today is the cast on crit build that I've chosen for my first character in beta. And it's a fairly standard fakener as coined by Mathil. But the focus of the build is to cast on Crit Discharge. And there's a whole slew of changes that actually help and hurt this build. So, first of all, the links are Blood Magic, Cyclone, Cast on Crit with Discharge, and Life Leech in your 5 link. Changes to this include Cyclone's mana cost being cut in half from 24 to 12, which means that now on a 4 link, if I were to take a Blood Magic, we would have a 21 mana cost, and this means you could actually just run it on Elrion Jewelry for free, which would let you, reserve all your mana, keep mana open if you wanted to wear Cloak of Defiance. Sorry, you can't wear Cloak of Defiance. It's Cast on Crit Discharge. If you're using a different Cast on Crit build with Cyclone, you could wear a Cloak of Defiance and get that MOM effect and keep a whole bunch of mana open. I didn't have good crafted Elrion Jewelry, so we're doing a 5 link with Blood Magic, but you could easily craft up some decent Elrion Jewelry and run this on a 4 link for free or a 5 link for just very, very small amounts of mana. The next thing that's changed that affects it is base dagger crit went down just a little bit. Doesn't change too much, but it just means you have to hit a few extra times to make sure you crit. For my other links, what I have is Curse on Hit with Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice. I'm using both of these. They both add damage to my main attack, Cyclone, and the Discharge itself. And I'm using Assassin's Mark, though I think LE Weakness would be better. I just simply don't have an LE weakness in beta, and I wasn't going to chase one down. But Assassin's Mark gives us, more crit chance, and they take more damage from my crits. And we don't need reduced mana in here because we've grabbed a few reduced mana nodes. On top of that, we're also running reduced mana with Wrath, and Wrath has been changed, so now it gives more lightning damage with spells. That's multiplicative on top of all the lightning damage you already do with Discharge. You tack on 20% more. So that's a huge, huge aura for us. What's kind of hurt lately in beta is cast on damage taken. I've tried a few different setups, but Immortal Call, the base duration's low. Rather than gaining a flat amount per endurance charge, it simply gets an increased amount per endurance charge. We can't really use endurance charges that well because we're discharged, so we're just gonna get rid of them. So I've been trying to stack a bit of armor in my gear. I could set up a defensive curse with cast on damage taken, but overall I really feel a lot more squishy than I used to with say Cast on Crit Discharge build. As far as the tree goes, pretty much grabbing elemental damage and life and crit. You could go through these nodes right here, but that means that right now I'd have to grab a dex node, so it's not very point efficient. I grab all the power charges on the tree, all the AoE on the tree, and I'm using 3 very good gems, and I can grab another one if I want to, or jewels rather. So right now for jewels, I have lightning damage, attack speed, and spell leech. I have attack speed and crit chance with daggers, along with reduced freeze duration. This was crafted by Ziggy D, who I traded some pile of chaos or something for. And I have lightning damage, attack speed, daggers, critical strike chance with lightning skills, and area damage. So all of the gems, they're not perfectly rolled, but they all work very, very well. And like I said, I grabbed all the power charges on the tree, pretty much all the area on the tree. I've got Volpact. Before I had Volpact, Reflect was a little sketchy, but it was okay. I happened to find a Taste of Hate, and I traded for a Rat's Nest. I traded a Spell Echo for my Rat's Nest, and I also have a Sappho's Frame for bosses that only cast spells, pretty much, just to buff up those resists. I also have a setup with Purity of Lightning and Purity of Fire, which I planned to do Atziri with. I did 2 attempts at Atziri, but the trio really holds me back. Eventually I was able to defeat the trio, but because so much of that fight is physical based, and we don't have an effective cast when damage taken, Enduring Cry, Immortal Call setup anymore, we're just really weak. One of the things I've done to mitigate that is use a Lionized Remorse for the projectiles, the tons of armor, along with the Taste of Hate, and a Granite of Iron Skin. I was able to take the trio down. I only had 1 portal left, unfortunately, and wasn't able to take down Atziri. And a wipe's incoming, so I'm not going to be able to really push it that far. But overall, the build's still very viable. You do a lot of damage. You just need to worry about your defenses. And one of the ways I've tried to mitigate the squishiness is by using the new Fortify gem. Where are we here? So I have Fortify, which Fortify is a percentage damage reduction from all sources that you gain, but it has to either come from a Vigilant Strike or a melee skill. So I have this Fortify linked with Blood Magic, Flicker Strike, and Whirling Blades, which means if I go in or out with these 2 movement skills, I'm getting a buff. The other new thing is I'm running an Ice Golem. He gives me some accuracy, which I don't need because I have a Vagan Dagger, but would be nice if you didn't. And he gives me 29% increased critical strike chance, which is very good. That's about a node and a half worth of effective crit. So that's pretty much the build. Defensively, I'm really light. I've only got 4k life. I have a whole lot of life nodes I can grab still, and I kind of, if I were to do this again, I might even drop all of this elemental damage over here, and the reduced mana nodes, and then try and grab acrobatics and phase acro, just to help against those physical attacks. Because no matter how much gear I stack with armor, it's just not gonna stack up that highly without a granite up all the time. But we're just gonna jump into a map so I can demo the build for a little bit. We're gonna run both of our basically physical mitigation flasks, and you'll be able to see just how much damage this build can still do, despite the fact that it's a little squishy now. So, Flicker Strike in, get our Fortify buff up, and then start casting critting. Flicker Strike in, keep Fortify up. It's very important to keep Fortify up all the time that you can. A little bit of desync, their network changes aren't quite in yet, so. But we're doing, we're still one-shotting packs fairly easily. We're really good on rare damage as well, without too much work. The change to Wrath really just pushes it so that you don't need any sort of single target setup really. I don't even manually curse, to be honest. I've tried a conductivity, and eventually I got a second Assassin's Mark. But I didn't really think that either one was really necessary. Oh, gotta watch over here. Got Xandro going. But like I said, there's a wipe pretty imminently. sometime today. We don't have an exact time, so I wanted to make sure I got this guide done. I was hoping to get 3 or 4 more levels, so I could take down at Ziri, as you know, those levels would mean a big difference on my defensive side. But as you can see, damage-wise, we're doing excellent. Our gems are level 18 on average, and there's no lack of damage whatsoever. And then we're gonna go in against the boss here because it's always fun, and there's a wipe, so you know we're not really losing a whole lot. But the Fortify buff does make up to some extent the lack of a cast from damage taken setup in the traditional sense. It doesn't replace it entirely. You'll still get that burst damage. So I think that doing this again, I either make sure I'd always have a Surgeons of Iron Skin Granite to kind of keep that up, keep that armor way up, because when we throw this on, we actually have a reasonable amount of armor, you know, not a little over 9k, and that can be improved with just better gear. On the beta realm, we really don't have you know, an adequate trade system in place to fully test out you know, what things are like with a very good gear. So I imagine that however difficult we think things are, it would get a bit easier in the production realm when we have all the kind of the gear we want. A little long on that rare. He must have been resistant to elemental of some sort. Not really doing a full clear. I'm just kind of looking for the boss area here. I imagine it would be down this direction. Also heard a spirit. But I'm really happy with this build still. You know, I wasn't able to kill at Ziri, but I know it's possible. After I beat the trio, I learned a few things, and I think that it'll just get easier and easier. And I really kind of wish I'd leveled up a bit more, but with the imminent wipe, I'm looking forward to trying new builds. A few things I might try are a melee tank. I want to see how tanky we can get with the Fortify buff and maintaining endurance charges. Ooh, hey. Oh, double tap my flask. Whoops. There we go. See, so those totems normally would chunk me pretty bad, but I kept my Granite and my Taste of Hate up. I was pretty lucky finding a Taste of Hate in this realm. It's not something you can reliably buy. Very, 4 days into a league, so it kind of let me test an ideal defensive setup. I'm hoping we can find the boss here rather quickly. See if that's a dead end or it opens up. It opens up. On the bottom corner here is the other place it could be. This boss is usually skipped. He does primarily physical damage through like a suppressing fire, and then he consumes corpses to do a massive physical EK. Crap. Forgot to put on Blood Rage. There we go. Blood Rage will help me keep things shattered, possibly, but see, with our Granite up, we're fine, but my Granite's not Surgeon, so I can't reliably keep it on. And we did it. So that's my take on the Cast and Crit Discharge build. The style that Mathil made popular with Fakener. It's pretty solid still. I still have to work out some kinks with the fences, and it's definitely something I'm gonna explore when the Awakening goes live. So thanks for watching. This is going to only go to YouTube. I want to kind of make some YouTube exclusive content, and this is the first piece of that. So Really appreciate you watching. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, and hopefully we'll be looking at 4 or 5 more builds before the end of beta. Some things I want to do are, a melee tank, see how tanky we can get. I also want to play a summoner. I know a lot of people are playing summoners, but there are a lot of people who have played summoners before. I've never played a summoner, so I think that kind of a newcomer's perspective with all the tools and gems and jewels and new specters could kind of be interesting. So thanks for watching.